Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be doing another study for an upcoming painting, and by the time of me editing this video, I've probably already started it, so I'll insert a sneak peek here. But I'll be drawing and painting some strawberries today, and I invite you to join me by drawing or painting along with me, or just taking some time to relax. Let me know what you guys are working on in the comments down below, and I'd love to see it. Anyways, yeah, so this video is part of a series of drawing and art making sessions that I did about 2 weeks ago, planning, studying, and ideating for a painting idea. The idea is a double portrait of two cowboy characters of mine, Strawberry Sol and Blueberry Bill, and it's kind of an introductory painting of sorts to both of their personalities. It's inspired by a painting I did almost a year ago, which is crazy to think, but I did just a painting of Sol, and I really wanted to see how much my skills have improved and how much more I developed the world of Sol and Bill. This painting has both figurative and floral aspects to it, and I wanted to make sure I was knowledgeable on the objects I was painting and understood their structure before starting. If you want to know more in depth on how I study something, I will link the last video above and below if you want to check that out in the description. Furthermore, the first task associated with this painting is to study some of the things I want to include. By the time this video has gone up, I already showed my horse studies and blueberry studies, and now it's time to show my strawberry studies. I touched on some different topics in those videos. So in this video, I'll be discussing more on finding inspiration and how one piece of fruit inspired a whole world and cast of characters for me. I know that sounds a bit corny or like cheesy, but it's true. So almost a year ago, I came up with my concepts for Strawberry Sol and Blueberry Bill, and the world and cast of characters pretty much stem from one thing: strawberries. I really started to enjoy the fruit visually and gastronomically, add that to your vocab list, kids, in spring of 2022. I really wanted something to include in my paintings that semester that would either represent myself or an idea that I resonate with. And I was eating a ton of strawberries at the time, and painting the fruit was super fun. Strawberries are just like really pretty, and they're fun to paint because they just have such a juicy, deep red hue. And so I decided to draw from strawberries and use their imagery in my work. I wanted something to tie my wide variety of work together. I was doing portraits, illustrations, digital work, traditional work, pastels, acrylic, and I want something to kind of unite all of them and make it really hallmark back to myself as an artist. And including strawberries and things was just what eventually fit for me, and it stuck. Strawberries also remind me a lot of memories of attending a local strawberry festival and enjoying local produce and Florida strawberries. There's a little shop or farmer's market that sells the best strawberry shortcake about 20 minutes from where I live, and I have some fond memories of going there with my grandparents. I just went there recently with my boyfriend, and although it's not shortcake season, we're still able to snag a delicious and refreshing strawberry sundae, perfect for the blazing Florida summer day. And it was ice cream, so immediately as it was handed to us, it was already melting and became a soup in the matter of minutes. But strawberries meant more than just a sweet fruit or a pretty thing to paint. I realized that they're sentimental and remind me a lot of the area I grew up in. I began researching a little bit more into the symbolism of strawberries in paintings from art history during the spring semester, and I realized most of the time they alluded to sexuality or sensuality in paintings. Sometimes it hints more at a spiritual love or reminder of fleeting mortality. I looked into a lot of Hieronymus Bosch and how they included strawberries in their paintings. Very strange, but very inspiring. Hopefully I put some up on the screen to show you. But then going back into more recent years with my own past, along with associating Strawberry Festival and food memories. Strawberry themes in the early 2000s was a staple in my childhood, with characters like Strawberry Shortcake. I'm remembering lip gloss that was artificially strawberry flavored, and overall hyper femininity and the pinkness that just reminds me so heavily of early 2000s children's toys marketing, especially girls toys marketing. Strawberries began to mean more and more to me as I began to recall these memories and these past experiences, and they started to form a more personal meaning to myself and potentially other people like me who grew up during that time.
and in similar spaces. Then going to like the more present time, as I just recently began to allow myself to, just recently as in like the last couple of years, probably like starting college, I just recently began to allow myself to explore and enjoy more quote unquote like feminine things. I had put limits on myself and what I could enjoy when I was growing up or like going through teenage years, so that I could be taken seriously by other people in my life, mostly men, and trying to live to those standards. And I've just been unlearning a lot of that and not holding myself to these specific expectations. Oh. Okay. Then moving into my last semester in school, I had begun to find interest in cowboys. I began to see a lot of artwork and reinterpretations of the classic cowboy, and researching more into the untold stories of Black cowboys and Mexican cowboys, and seeing how diverse that field of work is rooted in and how much it had been romanticized and Americanized into classic cowboys we typically think of today, like John Wayne or even Woody from Toy Story. The life of the cowboy, the work ethic, and knowledge of the environment and animals is what I really began to resonate with, and the typically masculine, quote-unquote masculine associated feelings with the occupation is something I really want to explore and possibly create artwork about. So these mixing ideas of these classically masculine roles and archetypes mixing with overly pink and the luxury of early 2000s TV advertising and toys directed towards girls and the prevalence of strawberries, all this begins to like mush together and gears start to churn, and begin to discuss themes of gender roles and relationships in some prints at the beginning of my last semester in school. So this is like fall 2022. It started with a simple portrait of a cowboy with some strawberry designs along with some female-oriented work, and then it sprouted into a concept for Strawberry Sol in the painting later named Strawberry Sol and the Cyan Skies. This idea of taking these traditionally rough and tumble guys and dressing them in embroidered fruit-themed and beautiful vests, along with placing these characters into more intimate scenes. This idea became more about exploring vulnerability and intimacy, diverging from typical cis heteronormative stories and roles. In particular, there's two linoleum cut prints that I still really love and how they showcase the ideas pervading my mind at the time. I have a piece called, there's a piece called Sweet Dancin' that I made, and it really was a benchmark in this idea and was successful to me in both form and content matter. My now partner, at the time, we were just friends in the same classes, shared with me a TikTok of intimate dances between queer people in Hispanic communities, specifically in like the cowboy rodeo communities. And I drew a lot of inspiration from those videos for the posing and how I situated these two characters dancing together. During the critique session, my class was easily able to understand what was going on in the ideas I was exploring: vulnerability, companionship, intimacy, and trust. Furthermore, my last print in that class maybe described the ideas even better. Cowboy Cuddle was the title, and this print also exhibited similar ideas, but delving into more nurturing and healing imagery. This print kind of also ties into my last painting I made in university, alluding to a much darker side of healing. It's titled Cling, and it's in a large 4-foot by 4-foot painting, my largest painting I've ever made so far in my painting career. And even though the colors of the blanket are warm and comforting and colorful, the surrounding environment is almost draining and sad. And about the blanket featured in the painting, my mother crochets blankets, and I really love including them in my portraits and other paintings because the reminder of family and comfort and support. So the woven blanket in this print, I hope I'm putting like visual aids up on the screen as I'm talking about this, but the woven blanket starts to become a place of comfort, and this big painting that I made becomes a visual explanation of how much I turned to comfort of the literal blanket, because I would actually have that blanket in my studio, and the comfort I found in family and friends through a particularly stressful and emotional time of graduating and just having a really tough class schedule.
And the print of the two cowboys together, that kind of huddling and going to each other for support, and one of them is obviously being that support, feeding the other character and consoling them, and it just harkens back to those similar ideas of vulnerability, intimacy, and trust between two people or two groups sort of deal. So with the knowledge of all those like different ideas going on, looking back on it, these cowboys and paintings kind of allowed me to express a vulnerability I crave, a wanting to be seen as myself, as an equal, and not what I could offer or what societal role I fit in for a relationship, but also wanting to be that comfort for someone else, a companionship, trust, and respect, values that typical on-screen cowboys swear to, and unconditional loyalty. The characters of Strawberry Sol and Blueberry Bill sprouted from a place of tenderness, kind of almost melancholic, but healing as well. These two figures started as a way for me to express myself and how I was feeling during the second half of 2022. Lots of emotions going on personally and figuring out graduation and all that. Presently, they've evolved to more of like a typical quote-unquote character in my illustrations and like character designs and stuff, but I still want to use their story and relationship within my fine art explorations and more personal work. I also think that's why it's taken me so long to share more about them on this channel and on Instagram. These characters stem from a really sensitive time in my life, and I really wanted to make sure I was ready and okay to begin to share more about them, and I felt like this was a good start. Understanding why I created them is really important to understanding them more as characters as I continue more work about them. And who would have thought one little piece of fruit, just some strawberries, could spur on all of those ideas, imagery, and themes I would continue to explore until this day. All this to say is that you can draw inspiration ideas from anything. You don't need a gorgeous place to live or an aesthetic workplace or an interesting occupation or quote-unquote exciting life that you might see online. Finding little quirks, patterns, or just capturing your life is something that no one else can do. Take some time to really observe your everyday life and take notes of regular things that can spark ideas and launch you into exploring something that really means a lot. Whether it's through painting, drawing, character design, writing, pottery, it doesn't have to be monumentous or super complex at first. Honestly, it could just be a little doodle in your sketchbook. But give your brain time to explore, follow a path, maybe a little research, digging up old photos or looking at old artwork, and the next thing you know, you're on your way to creating work that really speaks to you personally as an artist, and the stories you create with your characters and worlds become so much richer and meaningful to yourself. I think that inspiration can be found anywhere. And it's still so hard for me to describe it and to explain it coherently. I need to do a thesis or write a whole paper or something like that to get everything sorted out, and maybe do a bit more research into early 2000s nostalgia and the Hieronymus Bosch paintings and more about the role strawberries have played in art history. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have so far. So I hope that made somewhat sense, or you find some value in what I had to say about my artwork. But yeah, that's just what I think about sometimes when I'm making artwork. Anyways, about this actual study, I don't really like how it turned out, but I really love the colors, and I'm excited to use this imagery and explore it more in the final painting. And I hope you guys come to understand more of why I create this type of work I create and where it all came from and the ideas that typically surround my work. I know it was a bit all over the place with explaining stuff, but I hope you guys understand the general gist of what I'm trying to communicate, and that's why I think I make artwork in the first place, is because it communicates so much more than what I can say with my words, and I feel like a lot of other artists can relate to that. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below, and don't get me wrong, not everything with my artwork has a super deep purpose. I've definitely taken more lighthearted routes with my characters and do silly things. I mean, after all, they've become fruit-flavored magical girl cowboys who fight vampires. Come on, that's a little ridiculous. But fan art is also so inspirational and entertaining to me to make, and they all just become pure expressions of joy for my favorite media and just creating. But the main juice of what I do is really important as well, and I really wanted to share that with you guys in this video. thank you guys so much for watching. It was really interesting for me to reflect on why I am drawn to certain imagery and where a lot of my ideas have stemmed from, and I hope you guys didn't find it too boring. I can't wait to make more serious and fun works in the future with these characters, so if you're interested in more of this style of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and you can also follow me on Instagram for more frequent art updates. And also, if you didn't know already, I have a sticker shop and I plan on releasing more stickers soon of my berry cowboys, so make sure to subscribe to my email newsletter if you're interested in more discounts and notifications to when I'll be posting the new shop products. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my art, and I hope you all have a lovely day and take care of yourselves. Yeah, bye.